This video is kindly brought to you by Skillshare. Sweet October to you. I hope that you are doing well and that you have some knitting on your lap, maybe a warm beverage right next to you. How's the weather like in your part of the world? It's been raining a lot here in Brittany. The trees are only starting to turn actually. We've been quite busy over the past couple of weeks because we've had family that came over. Edgar's mom stayed with us for 2 weeks, so we've been able to explore our surroundings a little bit more, go by the sea and discover forests that are close to us. We went fishing and we went to cute little cities. There's been a lot of knitting happening over the past couple of weeks. I've been working on jumpers, I've been working on a sock pattern, I've been working on a hat, and yeah, these deadlines are approaching very soon. So I just have a couple of deadlines left, and right after that I will probably not be working on commission work for a very long time because deadlines and babies are not compatible at the moment. It's just a little bit too stressful for me. So I decided to just work on my self-initiated projects, and I couldn't be more happy about this decision because there's so much yarn that I want to be working with at the moment, and knowing that there's no deadline for these projects to be finished is such a relief, and I think it's really going to help with my creativity as well. So I'm really looking forward to spending quite a bit of time with Dera Natura, which is the yarn that I have just put on the shelf. I have 3 different projects that I'm dying to cast on, so I will be showing you a little bit more of that in the upcoming episodes, because I'm planning to keep recording those cute little vlogs for you, and they're just a lot of fun to do, and they will allow me to revisit them later on and see what it did at that time in our life and see how much the baby has grown. It's finally October. October is the month of knitting, of course, but it's also a very important month for foragers because there's a lot of things happening in the woods at this time of the year, and we've actually been busy the past couple of weekends going to different woods and picking mushrooms because this is one of our all-time favorite activity. So we've had such a wonderful time exploring new woods and picking different sorts of mushrooms. We managed to find a huge patch of oyster mushrooms this afternoon, and we are going to be cooking them tomorrow. We just need to buy a couple of ingredients, and we're so excited about that because there's still a couple of more weeks of foraging ahead of us. And yeah, we bought a dehydrator, which means that we'll be able to enjoy them throughout winter. So yeah, we're back from the forest and we've had the most wonderful time outside. I can't even tell you how amazing it is to be, I don't know, like outside in nature with no one around but horses and tree friends, and just like walking around with the baby on me. She's just like so excited about everything that surrounds her. And then right in the middle of the field we found the most amazing patch of mushrooms. And I don't know if you've ever been mushrooming before, but if you have not, what happens when you find a lot of kind of rare mushrooms or mushrooms that you are not expecting to see is just like this, some kind of I don't even know how to call that. Like there's a lot of adrenaline that comes into your body and you just want to keep going and keep going and keep going. So we ended up walking for more than 4 hours and we came back home with a basket full of mushrooms. We had the oyster mushrooms cooked with pasta and it was delicious, and we cannot wait to go back because forest therapy or nature therapy is so good on the body and on the spirit. And when you're stressed, I think like there's nothing better than being outside and just enjoying yeah, like nature, even if it's raining, even if it's pouring rain, which happened to us like 2 weeks ago. We were completely soaked, sort of. I had my my woolly jumper and this thing is pretty much waterproof, but we were quite soaked, to be honest, and we really didn't mind just like be outside, and we kept going with our mushroom craziness. So yeah, today's Tuesday, and yesterday I spent a good portion of the day working on one of my upcoming deadlines, and I have the sample right behind the camera and it's kind of drying at the moment. I'm supposed to ship it tomorrow, so yeah, I'm so relieved that this was done in time because I was starting to get worried that I would not be able to meet that deadline because that piece is quite long. I believe that I have used like 4 if not 5 skeins of sport weight yarn, and I've knit that thing in quite a short amount of time because we had family over and I had like other deadlines at the same moment happening, so it was just like a little bit too much. So yeah, I'm really relieved that this is done. I just have to weave in my ends and like take measurements, my gauge as well, and like take notes for all of rows where there's something happening because it's quite a minimalist pattern, which a lot of my patterns are, but this is just like my style and what I love doing. So yeah, this pattern is for rosy green wool. It's knit out of a beautiful Manx merino fine, which is an organic wool, and the pattern is going to be published in December or January, I believe. So I'm quite excited about this one. There's going to be a professional photo shoot if I'm not mistaken, so I'm excited to see how they're going to style the piece. And yeah, I will make sure to show you the pictures in an upcoming video. So yeah, back to waterproof knitting. I mentioned that this sweater helped me to stay warm and cool as well in the woods when we're going uphill with me carrying a 7-kilogram baby and experiencing quite heavy rain. This thing kept me dry and warm and cool, and I did not expect that from knitting, from a knitted piece. I knew that like like wool has some insulating properties, but I didn't expect it to be like as hard wearing as it is. So that's the only thing that I have been wearing when we went foraging, because usually I'm carrying the baby, so I don't want to have like a coat on top of like my knitwear, because I tend to overheat, and when you're mushrooming, you bend every 5 minutes to check this or that mushrooms, or even we picked chestnuts, so it was like a lot of bending, and I didn't really want to have a coat to restrict my movements. So I've been wearing this only, and I think that I've mentioned it a couple of times, but this is wonderful. I've washed it once only, so it is still a little bit rustic, but at the same time it's plotulopi, so it's a rustic Icelandic yarn, but I've doubled it with one strand of silk mohair, and it just creates the most beautiful fabric. So this jumper is currently being test knitted at the moment, and it's a very simple raglan jumper with quite a deep raglan. It's oversized, and this version has a split hem with a longer back, because it's quite this is the long version as well, because I wear it over these pants when we go to the forest, but I've also knit a cropped version, and I've used the same yarn. So this is the plotulopi with knitting for olive, silk mohair, and this one is Isager silk mohair. There's another version over there that is knit out of this beautiful yarn that I have shown you quite a few times already. I will link what this yarn is down below. It is so stunning. So yeah, I'm just like making another version, because a lot of my test knitters are actually using this yarn, and the very specific particularity about this yarn is that each colorway comes in a different weight, which means that in order to achieve the look of that sweater, my test knitters have to make sure that their gauge is as close to mine as they can, which means that there's a lot of fluctuations between the needle sizes that my test knitters are using. I think one test knitter is maybe working with a 3mm, and some knitters are knitting with the same needle that I have used, which is a 4.5mm. So you can see that there's quite a lot of differences in gauges, and that's because that yarn there is very different from one colorway to the next. And yeah, plotulopi and this yarn are very different from your regular yarn, in the sense that it's going to break easily if you tension your yarn, so you have to learn how to unknit and re-knit with that yarn, so it takes a little bit of adjustment, I would say, and obviously your gauge is going to be affected by that. But if you get close to the gauge that is used in the pattern, there shouldn't be any issue with the finished sample. So yeah, this jumper should be out next month. I have just uploaded the beta version on my Patreon, so if you want to get an early access of that pattern, I will also link the link below. One afternoon, I walked in my cute little town and I stumbled across this cute little shop that is called Make. It turns out that it is a new workshop place that has just opened right around the corner from where I live, and they are going to offer, or they started offering, different types of classes. So some macrame, some like beading, and a lot of different activities. And they are also planning to teach sewing classes, which I'm really interested in, because I am planning to make a couple of clothes. Well, I would like to make a lot of clothes for the little one, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I will keep you updated on that, and maybe show you like progress that I made, if like when I will take after I will take my class. So yeah, that was like such a nice discovery, and Aude, the shop owner, is such a sweetheart. It's been a joy to sit down and chat with her about crafts and the crafting industry and what is happening in the knitting community. And she told me about the seaming community, which I'm not familiar with at all. So it was, yeah, just a lot of fun to chat with someone that is as passionate about craft as I am. So yeah, if you're in the area, make sure to stop and go say hi to her. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and providing me with plenty of watchable learning material, which allowed me to spend many hours knitting on my deadline while watching talented makers. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands and thousands of different classes, from email productivity, which is a class that I should probably take because my inbox is kind of a mess, calligraphy and ceramics at home, which is the class that I took today. Skillshare is very affordable, as a premium membership is less than $10 a month, and Skillshare is actually offering you 2 months for free if you click on the link in the description box below, so go sign up. As usual, at around this time of the year I get inspired by so many things. I want to cast on so many things, and one project that I decided to start is a new pair of socks. And what I thought of doing is to upload here on YouTube how I knit my socks. So that would be kind of like a recipe of how I knit like most of my socks, like the very simple socks without any stitch. So how many stitches I cast on with which like cast on method, what I do for my heel, what I do for my toe, some tips, maybe experimenting with different knitting needles, because there's quite a few options when it comes to sock knitting. So yeah, please let me know if that is something that would be interesting for you. If you have anything that you would like me to mention, I don't know, it could be knitting, needles related, or maybe yarn, or I don't know, anything that you have questions about when it comes to sock knitting, please let me know so I could try to make a video that would be as educational as possible. I have one last project with a deadline, and then I'm completely free. So once that deadline will be met, I will be working on this little jumper, which I've made quite a bit of progress on. I've managed to finish the front already, and I will have to work on the back and then pick up stitches for the sleeves, and then pick up stitches for the neckline, and I should be done with it. So there's still quite a bit of work to do on that project, but that should be fairly quick because the stitch pattern that I have used is quite easily memorized, as I have used it so many times in some designs recently. So I'm excited to work a little bit on that later. And after that, I have so many ideas for quite a few projects that I'm so excited to start working on. I did a little display thingy to inspire me to work harder on my deadlines, so then I know that I have this yarn waiting for me to be cast on. So I used a little birch branch that I found in the woods the other day, and I decided to put on display some of the natural yarn that I will be using soon. It's kind of like my motivating branch, if you will. I just got so inspired by all of these colors, and like I've reorganized once again. I feel that I keep organizing my shelf every time that I shoot a new video, and that's because there's new yarn that comes my way, and I just want it to be displayed a certain way, so then like it can spark creativity in me. And it did, because I have plans for these babies. So you can probably hear that, speaking of baby, there's one that is not very happy at the moment and that wants to have her mommy taking care of her. So I'm going to do that, and after that I'm probably going to work on my deadline. So it's later in the evening now, and I am going to attempt to finish my first sock, and then I'm gonna read a little bit more on Philip Pullman's new book, which is called The Secret Commonwealth. And I just put the baby to sleep, and yeah, I'm gonna keep working a little bit more tonight. So yeah, I wish you a wonderful end of October. May it be a wonderful knitting month for you, and I will be chatting with you again very soon.